Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comic Book Burrito Extra Beef. My name's Darien,
My name's Landon.
and today we're back with our finale, as you see, hopefully, on your screen. Our Dream DCEU finale. This is both of our phase threes in this episode. This is it. This will make or break our DCEU. This however long 10-year journey that metaphorically this is, if it were real, it would all lead up to this.
I've never been so stressed in my life doing something. and like for you, it's easy. Apparently, it's like you look at compared to mine and yours. I just have like pictures of the character and the actor or actress I want to play them, and I describe the story. And you have this whole dang novel.
Well, I guess because I write, and so.
Oh, really?
It works, but yeah, I guess we can. I mean, there's really nothing to any preface going into this.
Yes.
So we'll start with. Oh, I gotta click. Darian's phase three. My phase three. And my phase three starts with Hawkman and Hawkgirl, directed by Alex Proyas, who directed the Gods of Egypt movie and iRobot and another movie, but I completely forgot which one it was.
Okay.
So this movie takes place all throughout time. In the beginning, we meet Prince Khufu, played by Theo James, the guy at the top here, and Priestess Chayara, played by Paul Patton, at the bottom. They live in ancient Egypt. Their love is forbidden due to the difference in ranks, but they sneak away together. Chayara's enraged husband, Hafset, played by Javier Bardem, down there in bottom right, hunts them down and kills them both, but after feeling tremendous guilt, kills himself. We will visit time periods throughout the movie where Khufu and Chayara have been reincarnated after many deaths throughout time. One set modern day 2022, Shiera Sanders, just Chayara, and Carter Hall, Khufu, find each other. Wait, what? I lost my spot. Okay, find each other and anticipating the inevitable death of the two in what seems like a horrible time loop, they travel to the Metropolis Museum of International History, where they find the dagger used to kill them both. And upon grabbing the dagger, they both grow wings and gain super strength. This is like a semi dumbed down version of their origin story, but not really. Yeah, okay. At this time, Hafset arrives, now known as Vandal Savage, and attacks the two. He tells them that his hatred for the two has fueled his conquest all these years, and he takes the dagger and attempts to kill Carter. This is a bug fight. A big fight ensues, and they capture Vandal. Not knowing where to take him, they bring Savage to the Hall of Justice, where Batman is present. He takes Savage and locks him up temporarily, then greets Hawkman and Hawkgirl. They ask if they can stick around for a while because they do not know where to go. Batman agrees, and the two join the League. There's one post-credit scene. The first shows the words 20 years ago and the rubble of the planet Krypton floating through space. In the middle, there's a pod, and inside is a baby. The trajectory says Smallville, Earth. The baby's name is revealed to be Kara Zor-El. That was Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I just realized a grave error in my final movies.
Yeah, I've noticed it too.
No, you haven't.
That's a lie. I have not.
I forgot because I forgot to introduce Supergirl. But I forgot to mention her, and I talked about the final movies, but maybe she's not there. I'm just gonna say that. Yes, but that was Hawkman and Hawkgirl, first movie in Phase 3. Move on to the second movie, which is Superman: Last of Kin, directed by Jon Favreau, who did the other movies as well. All right, so in this movie, a meteor crashes in Smallville. Superman's busy in the middle of an important meeting with Perry White at the Daily Planet. Perry fires him, and Clark packs his stuff up and leaves, while Lois argues with Perry. When he gets to the crash site, an archaeological crew have set up there. The head archaeologist, Kent Nelson, played by Pierce Brosnan, walks up and explains that this was no meteor, but a spaceship that won't open. The ship only opens for Kryptonian blood, and inside is a grown-up Kara Zor-El, Clark's cousin, played by Melissa Benoist. Clark gets her out of the ship and flies off with her. They go to it's about to explain why she was a baby in that post-credit scene, but it's about to explain how she's like older. He explains that her ship was thrown into a time vortex, causing her to age quickly, which is what happened in the books, I think. Yeah. Before they finish talking, a green robot busts through the wall and weakens the two of them. The robot is Metallo. After a big fight between the three, Clark and Kara lose, and Metallo kills the imprisoned Bizarro in the Fortress of Solitude. That's where their first fight will take place. So after coming back together, they race to find Metallo, and when they do, the kryptonite weakens them again, but they push through and take him down, slowly but surely. Movie ends with Superman introducing the world to Supergirl. There are 2 post-credit scenes. The first is of Kent Nelson sleeping. He has a dream that is shown as pictures of the pyramids in Egypt. He wakes up and his eyes turn blue, with an Ankh appearing on his forehead, which is that, like Dr. Fate's cross symbol.
Yes.
The second scene is of Clark getting his job back after Lois begged for him to Perry. Begged to him for Perry. He sits in his chair and Perry throws a giant stack of papers in front of him. Clark gets back to work. The camera zooms in on a newspaper article that says "Killer Clown in Gotham City."
All right.
Into that movie. All right. This guy, Kent Nelson, very important going into this. Here we go. Next movie is Batman: The Last Laugh.
Sorry. You'll find out I'm laughing a bit later. You'll
stolen my ideas. No.
We have very Batman movie. It's very similar. It's very similar name.
Okay. So war has erupted in Gotham City. Wayne Manor is burnt to the ground. That happened in the post-credit scene, last phase. And Alfred is nowhere to be found. Batman struggles to keep the city together as people are looting and killing all throughout the city. All of them are dressed in colorful outfits with military-grade weapons, which also was set up in the last Batman movie when Joker opened his goons opened that container full of weapons that happened. Batman stays on comms with Gordon, who enlists the help of his daughter, Junior Detective Barbara Gordon, played by Sadie Sink, to provide updates via security cam footage around the city. She tells Batman and her father that a group of clowns were seen entering the DA's house. Batman arrives there to find the Joker and a posse of goons holding Harvey Dent hostage. Batman negotiates with them to let him go, but then decides to throw a batarang at Joker and tackles him to the ground. The goons grab Batman and hold him down while Joker pours a container of acid on Harvey's face, burning the left side of him. Joker grabs a steel pipe and knocks out Batman. When he wakes up, he's tied to a chair on the roof of a building. Joker brings out Alfred. He's bloody and beaten. Batman eventually escapes from the chair and beats up Joker. He almost kills him when Joker pulls out a detonator and blows up the GCPD. Batman knocks Joker out and ties him to the chair where he was, then grabs Alfred and hides him somewhere safely. He goes to the GCPD where some cops are bringing out Gordon's body. Barbara's on the sidewalk crying and Batman consoles her. He takes her in the rays and reveals to her that he's Batman. There are 2 post-credit scenes. The first shows the roof where Batman fought Joker and the chair with Joker in it. 2 cops walk up to the roof and they check Joker's pulse, and the other's sitting there conversating. And then Joker jumps up, kills them both, and runs away laughing. Remember, Joker's played by Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
The second scene is of the hospital where Harvey Dent is. He pulls off his bandages to show his burnt side of his face. A tear falls from his eye, and he screams and punches a mirror, shattering it.
Dude. Okay.
Is yours similar?
Yeah, very similar. It's like almost on par. Dude, I swear to God, I did not copy you one bit. Oh my God.
But yeah, this movie feels like
the only thing, I mean, obviously, in credit scenes are different and all that. But oh my God, I'd say my only difference is I have like one scene. I have one extra scene of like a chaotic Joker in mine. Oh my God, it's like it's down to it's pretty similar.
I forgot to say also, Derek Kolstad directs this movie. He directed the other ones. He's also the John Wick director. All right. That was Batman: The Last Laugh, and that'll lead into Wonder Woman: Psycho Circus.
Man.
Wonder Woman: Psycho Circus.
Hold up. Sorry, I went back real quick. Oh my God. Wonder Woman: Psycho. Okay.
Directed by Chloe Zhao, who did the other ones. I got a kind of a funny thing here. I like this. So Diana's trying to balance having a superhero life and a normal life. She meets this man, Air Force pilot named Steve Trevor, played by Chris Evans. Look, Steve, he's playing another character named Steve in another superhero movie. Yeah. And the woman that's playing Wonder Woman is Haley Atwell, who played Peggy. Obviously, so they're back together in a superhero-related project as a couple, and he still plays a character named Steve. So there you go. They go out on a date. She debates about telling him her position in the league. They travel to downtown Metropolis, where they go to the circus. The ringmaster, a man named Edgar Sisco, played by Peter Dinklage, is announcing things about the show. When Diana notices something is wrong with the people there, I don't know why I messed that up. But when Diana asks Steve if they can leave, everyone in the audience turns their heads to look at the two. The ringmaster reveals that his name is Dr. Psycho, and no one can leave the circus. Diana is forced to reveal her identity to Steve and attack Dr. Psycho. Tons of circus freaks attack her, and she fends them off and manages to grab Steve and fly out. But now she isn't in Metropolis anymore, but in a carnival. She turns around, and she's all of a sudden in a house of mirrors. See, Dr. Psycho's power is he can like cast illusions and stuff like
that.
She's in a house of mirrors. Let's see, where she sees her old foe Ares and illusions of Dr. Psycho. She eventually finds Dr. Psycho, takes him out easily. She takes him to prison where he's given power-dampening cuffs and arrested. Steve stays with her in the end, and she goes back to living her happy life. For now. There's one post-credit scene that shows a plane landing. Kent Nelson walks out, checks his phone, looks up at the sign that says, "Welcome to Cairo." I cast Peter Dinklage as Dr. Psycho because it's perfect casting.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
And remember, in this world, the MCU does not exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I got... I said Steve Rogers. That's why I got Chris Evans.
Peter Dinklage, because I actually thought about doing Dr. Psycho for Mon for a minute, but I actually had this. At least I thought it was a decent idea. It could suck, but I had this other idea, so I decided to go with that different one instead. I like it though. No, I think it's funny how we used Peter Dinklage. I used him as Brainiac, and you used him as, which is not bad casting. Oh, I mean, it's probably better casting on your end, honestly, but. I like it though. I like it.
Yeah, but this movie's a kind of if I would say any movie is a filler movie, it'd be this
one. A filler movie? Okay.
Yeah. But moving on, I think I know what's next. The Flash and the Green Arrow, directed by James Gunn. So this is my very first show.
Mm-hmm.
And The Flash and the Green Arrow is a small team-up series where Barry and Oliver come together to stop two of their villains, Deathstroke and Captain Boomerang, played by Carl Urban. I took that.
Yeah. So
teamed up to try to take down both Flash and Green Arrow. The show will be very comic booky. At one point in the show, Boomerang stabs Flash in the leg with a boomerang, rendering him useless for an episode while he speed heals. So there's going to be like a solo Green Arrow episode in the show.
Okay.
Let's see. Once Barry heals, he's given a new suit by Q-Tech, Oliver's company. They eventually take down the two villains and say goodbye to each other. Barry goes to see Iris, and Oliver goes back to resume his job as CEO of Q-Tech. There will be a scene where Barry goes to prison to visit his dad, and we learn more about his origin. Likewise, with Oliver, we learn from flashbacks during the solo Green Arrow episode how Oliver became the Green Arrow. For Barry, we learn that his mother was mysteriously murdered, and the police arrested Henry Allen for the murder, even though he swears up and down that he didn't do it. For Oliver, we learn that he was stranded on an island for 5 years, where he was a castaway and learned to use a bow while there. And there are two post-credit scenes in episode 4 and episode 6. The first one's a funny one about Oliver calling Dinah, Black Canary, to ask for help, and she says no and hangs up on him. And then I'm trying to make that's like Green Arrow comedy.
Yeah.
The second one is a Barry sleeping, a mirror on the wall across from him, and it ripples. Man steps out, played by Tim Roth, and grabs Barry, but Barry wakes up and kicks the man, who flies back into the mirror, and the mirror shatters. I bring in a Mirror Master, played by Tim Roth.
Pretty good.
But yeah, that was the Flash and the Green Arrow.
Okay.
Not much about it. Little show.
Little show. I like it though. I think Captain Boomerang. I like the idea of what's his face playing Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, Deathstroke I cast in my last Green Arrow movie, or second to last. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But all right, here we go with movie number 6, which is Green Lantern: Rise of Sinestro.
Okay.
Directed by James Cameron, who did James Cameron did my House of L movie. I think I changed it to where he also directed my first Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't what I had originally. So I just want to put that out. All right. This movie follows Hal Jordan as he's called back to Oa by the Guardians. They tell him of a sect of lanterns who have gone rogue and that he must assist in bringing them back. He goes to find the group, but they find him first. Their suits have turned yellow, and their leader, Sinestro, played by Luke Evans, floats in front of them. Hal tries to understand what is going on. Before he can talk to Sinestro, the Yellow Lanterns attack, sending monstrous creations from the rings after him. They defeat Hal, and he returns to the Guardians, where they tell him that if he does not capture Sinestro and his cohorts, he will be stripped of the title of Green Lantern of Sector 2814. Hal flies back out and goes to Earth to enlist the help of Kilowog, who was last we talked in the last Green Lantern. He fell to Earth, and we saw him. He met the comedian in that alleyway.
Yes.
But he finds Kilowog. He finds him in a dirty apartment, and the comedian is there. So they're living together.
Yeah.
After convincing Kilowog to join him, Hal says goodbye to the comedian, who makes a joke saying that Hal reminds him of a man he used to know. Tall, brown hair, kind of nerdy, wore glasses, loved owls. Kilowog and Hal fly back to Oa, where the Yellow Lanterns have invaded and killed the Guardians. After a huge fight, Hal chooses not to kill Sinestro, and Sinestro flies off, leaving his cohorts to be taken by the Green Lanterns. The movie ends with Hal looking out to space and noticing a fiery planet making its way to Earth. There's one post-credit scene. It shows Kent Nelson walking into a tomb in Cairo. Inside is a stone vault. He places his hand on the vault and a blue light shines out. It opens to reveal the helm of Nabu.
Okay.
All right, so, I mean, comedian had to make the joke. I assume you know who he was like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, no.
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay. And then that would lead into movie number 7, which is Dr. Fate, Herald of Apokolips, directed by Sam Raimi.
Jon? Or what's Jon doing in there?
You'll find out. The movie starts with Kent Nelson, where we saw him in the post-credits scene in the last movie. He picks up the helmet as his eyes glow blue and he puts it on. A blue and gold suit forms on his body and he becomes the new Dr. Fate. He teleports to the Hall of Justice, where Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, the Flash, Plastic Man, Hawkman, and Hawkgirl, Black Canary, and the Atom are sitting at a table talking. Superman flies straight toward Dr. Fate, but Fate blasts him with magic, causing him to get knocked backward. Fate then warns them that Apokolips is coming. The Justice League decide to not fight him since he took down Superman so easily. He explains to them that a horrible being by the name of Darkseid is coming to claim a mother box that is on Earth, and with the box can rewrite the reality of the universe. Fate reveals that he knows the location of this box and will need assistance in protecting it and the world from Darkseid and his army. The Justice League is brought to the box hidden underground in the jungles of South America. As they find the box and Fate tells them to prepare, he's thrown into a black void. Inside, Dr. Fate is there, and Kent Nelson is there. They're in his mind. They fight for control over the body, and Kent wins. He has fully become Dr. Fate. As he comes to, Green Arrow is shaking him awake. He looks up to see that Apokolips has arrived. It sends out a burst of the Apokolips is the planet that Darkseid lives on. If you didn't know that. It sends out a burst of fire, but Fate shields everyone, and the entire forest around them turns to ash. The movie ends as Darkseid comes down to Earth, played by John Spillman.
Oh. Hey.
Come on. He's going to be CGI'd a little bit.
A little bit. All right.
But,
it's just or so. Everything else is normal.
Yep. I had to. I don't. I think he might not appreciate this.
I'm mad at it, put him in dang.
I wanted to make it a joke and put him in as something, but also because they couldn't figure out who I wanted to cast as Darkseid. So. Yeah. There's one post-credit scene shows Oa and Hal Jordan watching as Apokolips destroys part of the Earth. He immediately flies off to help. And Dr. Fate, Herald of Apokolips, by the way, directed by Sam Raimi, which I think he'd do a good job doing that.
Oh yeah, I think so as well.
He'd do the weird, like trippy, like him going into his mind and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie leads into Justice League Apokolips, directed by the Russo brothers. All right.
Okay.
I can't remember what I cast him as. All right, anyway. Apokolips has arrived. In this movie, the army of Darkseid and Darkseid himself arrive on Earth, where the Justice League try to fight him, but are beaten quickly. All the League, except for Dr. Fate, are captured. Darkseid attempts to get the location of the Mother Box from him, but to no avail. On Apokolips, the League is being tortured. Superman manages to escape and free the rest, and they run into Steppenwolf, played by Michael C. Hall, who's the guy at the top left.
Yeah.
They all fight it out and knock out Steppenwolf, then escape the prison. Their main goal is to find a way back to Earth to protect the Mother Box. As they discover a docking station for transport ships, Superman, Hawkman, and Wonder Woman all decide to fly down to Earth themselves to clear a path for the ship. Once they arrive on Earth, Darkseid greets them. The three fight him, and Darkseid knocks Superman and Wonder Woman away. He grabs Hawkman by the neck and grabs one of his wings, ripping it from his body. The rest of the League arrive on the ship, but Darkseid shoots his Omega beams at it, blowing up the ship. A shield bubble is shown around the League members as Fate saves them. Darkseid turns and lasers Fate, melting his helmet. Darkseid senses the Mother Box and lasers the ground to unearth it. He collects the box and flies back to his planet. Apokolips vanishes, and the Justice League are left to wait on Earth, moments before the universe itself will be annihilated. Justice League. Oh, wait, I read that. There's one post-credit scene shows a swamp and a man played by Tom Welling sitting down in the water. The Earth rumbles and the flashes of the jungle burning appear. A voice says, "It is time, Alec Holland. Save the green before it is too late."
See? Oh my goodness. Okay.
So,
I like it.
do you know who Alec Holland is?
Yes.
Okay, because that'll lead into the next movie, which is wait, hold on, which is Swamp Thing, directed by Mike Flanagan. Look, okay, just give me a minute to explain some of this.
No, I was Jackie Earl Haley there. Okay.
Okay. So Mike Flanagan's directed a lot of horror movies, and I want this movie to be very dark and sometimes scary, but not really. But in this film, while the League sadly await the destruction of the universe, in Louisiana, Dr. Alec Holland is the Swamp Thing, and he senses the disturbance of the green, and he tries to get to the bottom of it. As he's investigating in New York, he enters a rundown apartment building inside our old newspaper. So he's trying to figure out, like, okay, where's this vision that I've seen, and like, what's going on? So he's investigating. He enters a rundown apartment building inside are old newspapers and posters featuring a team of heroes called the Watchmen. When Alec picks up one of these papers, he hears a noise behind him. It's Rorschach, played by Jackie Earl Haley. He tries to turn to Swamp Thing, but due to the absence of plant life around him, he can't. Alec questions Rorschach about the Watchmen, but Rorschach doesn't respond, instead opening his cabinet and grabbing a can of beans. After what seems like forever, Rorschach gets annoyed and takes Alec to meet someone who may know what is going on. He sneaks him into a military base where Dr. Manhattan, played by Billy Crudup, guy at the top right.
Yeah.
Manhattan tells him that he has felt an overwhelming feeling of dread as of the last week, but is unable to help because he has prior engagements. Alec Holland leaves New York and travels to South America as he feels the earth calling to him in longing. When he arrives, he finds the League bloodied and beaten with the jungle burned to a crisp. He touches the ground and becomes Swamp Thing, then regrows the jungle. Along with regrowing the jungle, some of Darkseid's army arises, and Swamp Thing takes them down and introduces himself to the League. There is one post-credit scene, shows a man in a fancy chair in a penthouse. He turns around to reveal that it's Ozymandias, played by Matthew Goode. He's watching a video recording of Dr. Manhattan with Alec. His pet, Bubastis, walks up beside him and he pets him. Then he looks back at the recording, zooms in on Manhattan, and smiles. The camera pans down to a smiley face drawn on a notepad. So I'm setting up the Watchmen movie, obviously, with this. But
okay.
This directly sets up the actual Watchmen movie, which I'm not changing at all, kind of like you did.
So it's based. Okay, so this is before the comic. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. He's getting ready. He uses Manhattan to do what he did, Ozymandias.
When Darien has more Watchmen stuff than I do, I think that's a problem.
Okay. But Swamp Thing's the one that helped introduce the Watchmen.
Oh god! So you made me really want to watch Swamp. I love Swamp Thing. Don't get me wrong, but now you really made me need to watch him, just so I can see more Watchmen. I need it.
All right, and that'll lead into my 10th movie here, Justice League: Darkseid War, directed by the Russo brothers.
Of course.
This little image right here took me a long time to make, and I've been robbed, so I'll just say that, and then Landon can explain it later.
Yeah.
So this movie picks up where Swamp Thing left off with the League in the jungles of South America. They agree to use the newly built Watchtower as their base, which was set up in my second Avengers movie. No, I keep saying Avengers, second Justice League movie. And they're brought there via the teleportation system. Green Lantern and his corps arrive to the tower. The League fill him in on what's going on. Hal reveals that he knows the sector that the planet is going to and offers to escort the League there. Swamp Thing stays on Earth to oversee the Green while the League go after Apokolips. Once they arrive, they go to the planet where Darkseid's getting ready to combine the Mother Boxes. They attack him, and Steppenwolf joins in the fight against the League. They kill Steppenwolf and get the Mother Boxes away from Darkseid. They have to deal with hundreds of his army. They eventually get to fighting Darkseid, but he puts up a big fight. Lobo shows up out of nowhere and joins the fight. Lobo was introduced, I believe, in the after credit scene, the second Avengers movie. Second Justice League movie as well. But yes, Lobo's played by Jason Momoa, as I had casted then. Finally, as the last resort, Superman flies in. There's a laser off between the two. You got to have a laser. If two people can shoot lasers out of their eyes, they got to have I don't know what you call it. Let's call it a laser off. Firing the lasers into
a laser off.
I don't know what you call it when they're like firing the lasers into each other's lasers, and they gotta like see who's more powerful. I don't know.
Oh, laser.
I don't know what to call it. Laser off. I don't know. Laser off.
What did you look up exactly? Let's see if you can figure out the exact term. What happens? Laser beams die. It's like, what do you mean?
I don't have no idea. But Darkseid beats down Superman. Superman lies on the ground. Blood. Oh, hold on. I got something come up for the Zoom meeting. All right. But Superman lies on the ground, blood coming from his mouth. Darkseid picks up Steppenwolf's sword, which is imbued with magic, stabs Superman in the chest, killing him. The League, that's
not
ballsy.
Accurate. Get out of here.
It doesn't need to be comic accurate. None of this has been comic accurate.
You gave me trash. I literally had dang. No, I ain't gonna talk about it.
What'd I give you trash for?
We were talking about making our own Arkham game on one of the. It was like very early extra beef. I don't remember exactly what episode. Like this was like when we were first starting out, and I did this thing of where I answered and like where you play as Batman and you get Gotham and Metropolis to take care of while Superman goes out into space looking for more Kryptonian life and ends up finding Kara, and she's like a grown adult, and you're all like, "That's not comic accurate." You gave me trash for it, so I'm gonna give you trash.
But that's not the DCEU. That has nothing to do with this. That was a video game.
Oh my god.
This is, and see, I'm doing this so I can have another Superman movie where I bring him back in the black and white suit.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm doing this.
But real Kevin Feige, such as myself, would save that for a Phase 5 or Phase 4.
I am saving it for Phase 4.
You literally I'm
killing him here, and he's coming back in Phase 4.
No, you kill him in Phase 4. No. You kill at the very end of Phase 4.
This is 10 years. This has been 10 years. This is my Tony Stark death.
It doesn't really. That comes back eventually.
Yeah. Continuing on. The League attack once more, avenging Superman, and they fail. Plastic Man grabs the mother boxes and calls for the Watchtower to get them out. It gets everyone except Hal. Hal explains that if Darkseid and his army will leave Earth alone, he will become an indentured servant to Darkseid. Darkseid agrees, and Apokolips disappears, as a captive lantern could prove more powerful than the mother boxes, according to Darkseid. On Earth, the League mourn the loss of their fallen comrade. They go to the Hall of Justice to sit down together and call Lois to them. They break the news, and the film ends as she cries. There are two post-credit scenes. The first is Hal on Apokolips. He whispers to his ring, and it flies off, where it hits a man on the street in Detroit, played by Tyrese Gibson. The second scene is of the shadow of a man watching as a planet gets vaporized by a red antimatter wave in space.
Okay, well, I know the first one. I'm a little confused on the second one. I'm trying to figure out who that is.
Obviously, the first one, that's my Jon Stewart.
Yeah. I knew that.
The second one, I am setting up what is eventually going to end this whole thing, which is Crisis on Infinite Earths. That red matter wave, that's the point of Crisis, that red matter wave is destroying every planet in the multiverse.
Oh, okay.
And the Monitor, who is the shadow, is watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that concludes my Phase 3 of DCEU, and next will be your Phase 3.
Yeah, okay. That's what no one likes to show off, Darien, but I'll try my best.
Okay. Anything you want to talk about before I'll click and let you go on to your first movie? So
mine is way less than yours, movie-wise, and there's no Watchmen, which is surprising. I was going to save that for a phase. Yeah, that was going to be like my next 3 phases, was going to set up Doomsday Clock. Okay. This phase, it really focuses on bringing in newer people than my previous phases. Okay. And mine's pretty much the same as last time, where it's mostly just photos, and I kind of describe the movie the best I can. And I'd say kind of prepare yourself for some cast listings, because you're probably going to hate me, I feel like.
Oh, jeez.
Like this I'm nervous showing you the first one.
All right, you want me to click?
Yeah, let's go. Here, hold up. Yeah, Zatanna. Did I spell it wrong there, or is that how you spell it? Make sure.
I mean, I think you spelled it right, but you said Zatanna?
Yeah, Zatanna.
Zatanna.
Zatanna. That's how you say it. Zatanna.
Not Zatanna, yes, not Zatanna.
Whatever.
It's weird.
Anyways, Zatanna is being played by Selena Gomez. Yeah, how do you like casting? I feel like you hate it.
Wouldn't be my fifth
Well,
choice.
Who would be your?
I don't know her name, but I know what she looks like. 'Cause I've seen pictures of her online.
Oh yeah, I bet you do.
Actress.
Hey, this movie is basically a Zatanna origin story, and this is kind of another one of those. What did you say your Wonder Woman was? It was just a off thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a one-off.
Yeah,
kind of filler movie.
yeah, that's what this one is. This is a one-off filler movie, and that's all I'm gonna say. Hey, just Zatanna doing Zatanna stuff. And it's just a one-off movie. This one's very heavily comedic than most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Zatanna, and I wanted to have her in my universe. So, yeah, there we go.
That's it. All right.
Yes.
You ready for your next one?
Yes. You ain't gonna like the casting for this one either.
Jeez.
Okay, we'll go.
All right.
Cyborg. Michael B. Jordan playing a cyborg. How do you feel about that one?
That's I think he could do it.
I think you could do it too. Dude, I love Ray Fisher, but I don't know what it is. It's weird because I don't really care for Ray Fisher as Cyborg. I don't know what it is. I thought he did good for what he did. This movie is this is a Frankenstein's monster. This one actually leans into a horror type of movie. Like it's based off the Frankenstein, which I think would be pretty fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Cyborg and just hating his father of what he did to him, and just this deep regret. And and the movie's focus is learning about forgiveness and understanding where people would come from. See if you can understand what the other person would say.
Yeah.
And this movie is going to be very, very horror like, in the sense that you see Cyborg's like just body constantly just messing up and everything. It just looks like gruesome, and like throughout the movie, he gets like more and more upgrades, which makes him look more like the Cyborg we know now.
Yeah.
There is an end credit scene for this movie, very similar to your Superman one, with Cyborg and his dad finally Cyborg and dad's finally come together. At the end of the movie, his father reading a newspaper, and for the Daily Planet, and it talks about it's talking about Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent running for district attorney. That's what it says. Instead of Killer Clown, it says Harvey Dent running for district attorney, which will go into our next movie.
I just want to point out, I was thinking about it. I was listening to you. I was also thinking about what that laser off is called. It's called a BEMO war.
A BEMO war.
Yeah, beam-o-war. Sometimes in other circles, it's called a beam struggle or a beam clash.
I like beam clash.
I like laser off. But anyway.
Beam battle. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yep.
Beam.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yes. Yeah, go to the next film. Batman, the man who...
fun fact, I was going to use that logo for mine when I first did it, and I was like, no, because I've been using the Batman Arkham logo for all of these, so I didn't want to like change it up.
Yeah.
Someone's been watching the Arkham Files.
I know. I literally saw it, but I'm like, I'll use that one first. So this one is literally, go back a couple of minutes ago what Darien said. That's pretty much what mine is. Exactly to a T. Only difference is we get a bit of with Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is a bit older in this one because I introduced Robin. You haven't introduced Robin yet in yours, have you?
No, but that was something I was planning on doing after in phase 4.
The only difference is this one we get a bit of like a Jason Todd kind of hint to it, where Joker actually takes Robin for a minute and beats him with a crowbar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Batman comes in, gets gets Dick, and he, are you laughing?
Nothing. The way you worded that was just
Yeah,
okay. Keep on.
that's his name.
I know.
Richard. Whatever.
Wait. Okay. Hold on. I do one other thing. So you're kind of using Robin in the way I used Alfred a little bit.
Yeah. Alfred doesn't get injured in this one. Robin more or less, and
I killed Gordon. So
you killed Gordon. Yeah. Well, I guess you got bigger balls than me, so I don't kill. And this one sets up Two-Face being the next villain, which I had as Rob McKinney as Harvey Dent, which you didn't like. And I still got Willem Dafoe as Joker for mine as well. This one leads into an end credit scene of researchers. Batman's like on the back computer at the end credit scene, and it shows that scientists have discovered Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, and which will lead into our next movie. Played by so I have Aquaman, and he's played by Travis Fimmel, who is
I think you should explain.
Yeah, Aquaman. Hold up. He's in the Warcraft movie, very popular in the Vikings TV show, and he's also in this show called Raised by Wolves, which is an HBO.
Now, what about this very racist Aquaman?
So I could not think of for the life of me the name of what you do if you hate a species. I was like, okay, he's racist then. So in this movie, Aquaman hates humans. Even though himself is human, he kind of resents himself in a way of being. He just does not like humans due to the fact of simple stuff like litter, the ocean, aquatic life, and everything, and how they, put up oil rigs, and he as far as he's concerned, humans can go die. So very racist Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie is learning how to. This movie's like big message is learn how to not accept, but just see. You can see the good. This is kind of which I thought would be pretty good theming, is a fish out of water story due to Black Manta coming down, and he ends up somehow bashing Aquaman out of his kingdom. And Aquaman has to live amongst humans, and see, kind of see like, hey, they're not so bad,
Mm.
And he ends up finding out the flaws of Atlantis, of how corrupt it is, because at this point, Aquaman is just a prince. And he ends up finding the corruption of Atlantis, and he's like, okay, we're going to fix this. And at the very end, he becomes the king of Atlantis, takes down Black Manta, and bam, Aquaman. There we go. End credit scene for this, it involves Aquaman and Mira. Is that her name, Mira?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both on the surface talking about just they're at this point they're really good friends, just talking to each other. And she ends up talking to him about like, hey, it's like, what's it like being king and all that. And he's saying his thing, saying it has its ups and downs. Then all of a sudden, the sun's shining on them, and next thing you know, it goes black for a second, and they see like this big bird. They're like, what in the world is that? And it's shut, and then it shows to be Hawkman, and which will lead into our next movie, Wonder Woman 2.
Oh, I just thought it was like World War II, and
well, I made it like this for a minute for a reason. So
okay.
Wonder Woman 2 is a prequel to the first one. So, with Wonder Woman set in World War II. And here I have Hawkman played by Oscar Isaac. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I know, very interesting. So I thought you would hate this one the most out of all of them. Strangely.
That's not bad.
So this movie is. I had this movie with. God, who's the guy who had Dr. Psychic or whatever?
Dr. Psycho.
Dr. Psycho, yeah. Or it was going to be in the 20s or in World War II or sorry, 40s, excuse me, World War II and everything, and you had the carnival. And it was going to be, I thought it'd be a pretty good setting to have with like crazy Nazi imagery. It was going to be like insane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I decided just the enemies are just Nazis. When America, we're going to fight for America. The first Captain America movie. That's what the feel of this movie is.
Gotcha.
And the big setup with this movie is at the very end. Wonder Woman and Hawkman team up. They team up in this movie to take down Nazis, and beat the movie. They take down this big Nazi camp to bring back a bunch of people home to their families and everything. And the end credit scene for this movie is Wonder Woman ends up looking into this cave that was that apparently these Nazis worshipped, and it shows these group of people versus this big giant being with an Omega symbol on it as like a prophecy, as something that's supposed to happen. And
Gotcha.
then it goes black, and then we'll lead us to our next movie, Justice League Omega.
Some Keith David going on here.
Yeah, Keith David. So I'm having Keith David play as Darkseid.
Fun fact: Keith David is playing Mr. Bones in Stargirl season 3.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
That show's good. No one
Of
can
course.
sleep on it. And Twitter's starting to realize that show's good too. I've seen it.
Yeah, I know you've seen it because you retweet and quote tweet it every time.
I do.
This movie is.
You thief! You stole my symbol. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. So you worked very hard on it, and I decided to thank you by using it. So you gotta thank me.
You should have paid me.
Should have paid you for what?
You stole my.
You can take $5 from our money thing we get.
Exactly.
That we can't cash out.
That symbol Sly 5 right there. That's where I get my $5 from.
Fine. There we go. That's your Sly 5. So this movie is very violent. Like Darkseid wipes the floor with all the Justice League members. Like Superman can't even get a punch in, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel bad. I kind of hate it because I wish I saw something better. But this one kind of is the same thing with Brainiac. With the previous one with Brainiac. Justice League, and by the way, reminder: this team consists of Batman and Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Plastic Man, and Flash. Make sure I ain't forgetting nobody. Sorry, excuse me. Make sure I ain't forgetting no one here. Okay, I'm good. So yeah, those 6 members, and as when they're at their lowest moment, Aquaman shows up because he learned to humans. He decides to help the Justice League out, and with that, he's bringing the entire army of Atlantis to fight Darkseid. So then, Aquaman joins the team. Wonder Woman says, "Hey, I know a person that can help." Calls in Hawkman. He joins in. Then and Robin. Robin's. Sorry, yeah, I forgot to mention Robin's on this team as well, part of the dang Justice League as well. He's not like in the top tier, but he's there to help any way he can.
Yeah.
And Robin's all, yeah, I knew I met this guy online on that says he can help. Cyborg comes in, which kind of semi hints the Teen Titans kind of starting. By the way, yeah, I forgot to mention Cyborg's like 19 years old, so he's like almost in his 20s. I guess it's kind of, I don't know. Zatanna's not in it. That's gonna be later. But then they come together. And you have this whole, you had the Atlantic Army, and, all of them coming together, fighting Darkseid, and they eventually win, and that ends the movie. And this end credit scene is similar to Endgame, where it just I don't know how to describe it, but remember how Endgame, how it had the Marvel logo and you hear the Iron Man making his armor.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, but in this one it has like the DC logo showing up, and it plays the song "Unforgettable" like in the first Watchmen movie.
Mm-hmm.
And which that Watchmen will be coming here, so, and that's what it says. It's like Watchmen will be coming or whatever. Cool. And that's the end of my phase 3.
All right. I think that's the last slide. Yeah. I had what was I had one thing I was gonna ask you. I gotta remember. Yeah. Okay, so it's not really like an ask, more like a maybe an idea of what you could do in the future with your next phase.
We're gonna do phase 4.
If you want, after MCU phase 4 is over, maybe at the end of the year, we'll do a phase 4 episode.
Good Lord, man, this already stresses me enough.
It's too bad. Well, you have months to.
I know, so it should be freaking amazing.
So you had World War II.
Yes.
This movie. So you got Wonder Woman there. You got Hawkman. I think that could set up, because in World War II, Hawkman and Wonder Woman were on a team together at one point.
Yeah.
The Justice Society of America.
Yes.
And so you could make a Justice Society movie, and that's where you could bring in your Dr. Fate. You can put in, I don't know, Dr. Midnight, Hourman, Starman.
Do a show, and if we were ever doing it, I was actually going to do a show, and it was going to go more in depth with those, with Wonder Woman and Hawkman in World War II, and it was going to introduce Dr. Fate and everyone else.
Yeah, and you could bring in like Starman, because he was the leader of the Justice Society.
Yeah,
and you got to introduce his daughter, Courtney, who is Stargirl.
Oh God, he lost a daughter, so it's like
that's horrible. She's in the comic books.
Yeah, but no,
they're team. They're the Star Spangled.
You've made me dark, so you gotta thank yourself for that.
Well, but we know who the better phase 3 was. No.
Okay, look, just a more movie, better layout, and just better everything else doesn't mean it's better.
That's why I did do 10 movies. You did 6, which is the same as the other ones. I had done 10 just because like this is the end, and I wanted to have a little bit more room to tell certain stories.
Yeah. So I guess it proves our question in the beginning, because I guess it just proves like, hey, if I had the power of Kevin Feige,
or David Zaslav,
I'd suck. At the same time, I think
it's better than what we have now.
Hey, so at least I got that.
Yeah.
At least I have that.
But our opinions don't matter as much as you guys. Let us know what you guys think of our DCEUs and which one. Let's know which one's better. I'm curious about that. What if I'm all be for you? And I'm going to be like, hold on. I did all this work.
Because it was just
maybe December sometime after the Guardians holiday special. We'll do our phase 4 of DCEU, and then end of phase 5 we'll do a phase 5. It'd be like a thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
This should be out on a Friday. Here in maybe the next week. This is obviously the third part, and each part is the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I'm going to release it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really it.
Yeah.
There's not much else to do. I mean, that was it. That
was it. Next week's gonna be freaking packed. I mean, do you? Because I know the main episode is just gonna be really focused on DC and gaming stuff, and then our extra week's gonna be all the Marvel news.
Yeah.
Which actually is good because that Sony show does happen. It gives us more time to talk about stuff. So I hope that works.
Yeah, and if there's not enough news,
we'll make up some fake news. And then
no fake news on the comic book burrito.
Yeah,
all right. All right. But I guess we'll go ahead and head out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us for this 3-part extra beef series. Let us know what you'd change about our DCEU slates, and also let us know if there's something you'd like to see on extra beef, because it's hard coming up with these ideas sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, you could say to yourself, like, there are like hundreds of movies that you haven't reviewed, like all the Blade movies, and
I don't know any Blade movies. So
I haven't either. Hey, there we go. I mean, but
you want to do Blade? Oh no, we can't do Blade next to crap. Well, hey, we'll do Blade soon.
Yeah,
I always heard it.
Yeah. With that being said, I guess we're gonna go ahead and head out of here. All right, bye guys.
See ya.